that nearly every year, Gutta talks about the VAT. You can go as far back as 2 years ago. They talked about the VAT. In 2024, they talked about the VAT. In 2025, they are talking about the VAT. And next year, I can surmise that they will talk about the VAT. Now, that means or that signifies how important VAT is to their businesses. But what does it all mean? Francis Boi is a tax consultant to join us with a quick chat on the back of this. Francis, I appreciate your time this evening, but let's start off with this threshold increase. What does it really mean for businesses?
So, Kamali, VAT globally works with the requirement to register. You know, businesses are normally appointed as agents to collect VAT from consumers like you and I, so that they will account it to the government. Because you don't want just anybody to be collecting the taxes, we introduce VAT requirement or registration requirement. And one criteria for checking that you qualify to collect is what we call the threshold. So we look at the volume of transaction you do, your sales, then we introduce it, and then we allow you. Since 1998, when we introduced VAT into the country, we started with 20,000. So people who sell above 20,000, I mean, then it was 200 million. Then 2001, we brought it to 10,000. Then in 2010, we increased it to 90,000. And 90,000, as at that time, I think the exchange rate was around 1.43 pesos. So dollar-wise, it was around $62,000. Then in 2013, we increased it to 120,000. Then what we are operating now was 2015. We took it to 200,000. Again, if you convert, it's around $53,000. Today, we are proposing 750,000 Ghana cedis. If you do the conversion, it's still around $62,000 or 62,500. So I believe that assuming the dollar is being fixed, you can see that we are still within the same, threshold. And administratively, you can't allow everybody to start charging VAT. Imagine you walk to the shop owner and then you go and buy a pen and you expect this person to charge VAT. This is too tiny. And it's difficult even for the GRA to monitor because it's a self-assessment. If you don't monitor it, people will collect and won't pay. So the threshold globally, we introduce it so that people can, we can cut away those small people, and then we focus on the large volumes. In fact, if I should give you some statistics, if you look at Uganda's threshold is $40,000. Burundi is $82,000. Namibia does $30,000. So,
right. So
I believe
Francis,
that the threshold
bottom line at the 750,000 cedis, that should be good for businesses.
It is, because apart from the exchange rates which we are pegging, I think we are still within the same amount. Again, it is good for businesses, small businesses, so that those people can be cut off from the VAT system. Remember, if you are not registered for VAT, you do not qualify for what we call input VAT on all the purchases for refund.
Oh, it would appear we lost Francis there. We'll try and reconnect.
Your purchases. So it's a balancing effect. So I don't think that.
Right. So then, Francis, what readings do you make into Gutta's position about what they call a cascading impact on businesses? They think that it won't have a uniform impact on traders.
No, you see, those who are not registered, anybody below $750,000 do not qualify for a refund on his purchases. So they will end up they will have to balance it and then absorb it. So in terms of profitability, they are losing. Number two, if you are registered for VAT and your revenue is above 750,000, you claim an input VAT. So if you are shop number one and you are not registered, and shop number two is registered, at the end of the day, you think that you'll be making profit, but because you cannot claim or a refund of the VAT you've paid on your input, you end up absorbing it. So in terms of profitability, you are equal. And remember, we are canceling the flat rate. So at the end of the day, we are going to operate a one standard rate, and the levies are going to be claimable, as the minister has promised.
I see. Which also means that businesses that are not making sales of up to the 750,000 cedis cannot and should not charge VAT.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Now,
in the
Guta's
early,
point, and I'll let you explain, but Guta's point is that there are certain traders who do not make the threshold, which means that they won't be able to charge VAT. But for traders of the same goods who make that threshold, they will have to charge, which also means that the price of their goods will be more expensive. And so the competition with the trader who doesn't pay is unfair.
Not entirely, Kemley.
Right.
You see, if you charge VAT, you can tell that your price is going to be 20% more than my price. But remember, if all of us went to, let's say, China and imported, immediately you come, all the VAT that you pay at the port, you can claim it from government. Okay, so because you can claim it from the government, it's no more expense to you. You're not going to add it to your price. Now, my brother who is not registered cannot claim the same amount of taxes he has paid. He cannot. So he will have to come back and reprice it in such a way that he will pass it on to me, unless he decides to absorb it, which, as a prudent business person, you wouldn't want to make losses. So in your repricing, you have to add the import or the VAT that you have paid on your purchases. So at the end of the day, it is a balancing effect. In the long term, unless you decide that, okay, I'm going to take a hit to my profit, the VAT should not have an immediate impact on the two shops.
On the cost of goods.
It used to be, exactly, it used to be that when we're doing the 3%, because the 3% was introduced in 2007, when we assumed that they make a marginal profit of 3%. But, 2007, things have changed. Profitability may not have been a marginal rate of 3%. So I think this is a corrective measure that the government is doing.
I see. And just to be clear, you say that the 3% is being cancelled?
3%. So right now, everybody is going on a standard rate. We increase it to 750,000 Ghana cedis. If you are below, you don't charge and you are not supposed to register. What I was thinking, which I think there needs to be some alignment, is that, we have introduced the modified taxation. The modified taxation is saying that if you sell below 500,000 Ghana cedis, then, and again, you are not registered for VAT, then you can go for the flat rate of 3%. So we're thinking, instead of 750,000, why not 500,000, so that it will align with the modified taxation system. There, I think that there's some misalignment, but maybe the minister had some, a reason for taking it above the modified taxation threshold.
I see. Francis, we'll see how it all plays out. Thank you so much for talking to us. Francis Boi is a tax consultant.